Hi, good day. I want to talk about Team Client today. So in this video, I will use another YouTube content creator to explain the difference between Team Client and something she calls TIC Client, which refers to desktops and computers, desktop computer. So one important thing to know about Team Client it's the cost. Money is the thing that makes the world go around. So cost is very important in any entity, any organization. It doesn't really matter if it's a government institution or government organization or a private business. Money is something that makes work happen or makes the world go around. Um, so I will briefly explain how team clients can help an office reduce cost. Um, and like I said, I will play a video and for more explanation, and then I will do a bit of conclusion at the end of that video. So a thin client is a small and simple computer that depends on a central server. So it doesn't have a big hard drive. It probably has a bit of storage and a bit of RAM or memory, or it depends on a central server or a cloud system to run applications and store information. Unlike a normal computer or desktop, it does not require a powerful processor, large storage, or many expensive parts. And a first thin client was usually cost less to produce and purchase than a standard desktop computer. Secondly, they use less electricity and less heat. This can reduce both power and air conditioning expenses. Now, one thing that we face problem in a government organization is the power, and we pay easy pay, and when money doesn't come quickly, we tend to use our own money to pay easy pay every day to run the office. The third thing is that thin clients are easier to maintain. Software security updates and applications can be managed from one central location instead of updating every computer separately. So that is one beauty of deploying thin clients. This saves time and reduces the workload of IT staff. Thin clients may also last longer because they have fewer internal components, so they don't have very much component inside them, so it can last for maybe 10 years. Um, in contrast to using a desktop, you have your memory full with personal videos and personal photos, and then um, it consumes a lot of space and you run out of memory space. So it also stops people from installing programs, on their own programs or games or things like that. Those things they can use their own laptop or probably their own phone to access Facebook or whatever. So when one device stops working, it can often be replaced quickly as well because the employee's data is stored on the central server. So on the server, we maintain the um, we don't get to buy many licenses for antivirus as well, and it cuts down on the cost because all the information is stored on the central server, and we apply antivirus in one location. And we also that doesn't mean we don't protect the end devices, the thin clients. We also apply some kind of security on them as well, by pushing out updates to through the network to all the thin clients, so all the computers connected. So they can also be improve security because important business information is not normally stored directly on each device. However, thin clients require reliable network and a secure server and proper backup system. If the central server or network fails, many employees may be unable to work. So those are some of the things that need to be considered when deploying thin clients. And in conclusion, thin clients can reduce hardware, electricity, maintenance, and IT support costs. They are also especially useful in offices where employees perform similar tasks, such data entry and things like that. And we only need powerful laptops for people who are doing graphic design and creating videos and things like that. Not really much for normal data entry work and spreadsheet and PowerPoint presentation and all this. So yeah, some people really like they want i7 and i9 and whatever just to do data entry. But in fact, they are playing video and they are playing game at the workplace. So I had a lot of experience in other companies when I was working. When the memory is full, when the hard drive is full, the most common thing that I find is it is full because of personal videos, personal photos, family photos, whatever, picnic photos, things like that. So with Team Client, we cut down on the crap and we save only the work-related stuff. Um, so I will play the video that you all have been waiting for.
The words thin and thick refer to computing methods, but it can reflect device size too. The terms thick client and thin client describe two different kinds of computing models, aka where a computer gets the resources it runs on. A thick client, sometimes called a fat client, is a networked computer system, meaning most computing resources are installed locally on a physical device rather than distributed over a network. They're highly customizable, and the user has control over what programs are installed and the system's configuration. Most company-provided computers are thick clients, loaded up with the basic applications and files most employees need directly onto the device. Because of this, employees rarely need to connect to the company's server and therefore can work from home without worrying about staying connected and can even continue working if their internet goes down. In addition to working offline and more flexibility, other thick client benefits include fewer server requirements, more server capacity for additional devices, easy implementation on existing PC infrastructure, easy access to stored files and applications, and high computer performance. However, thick clients fall short on security, as a physical device contains all an individual's data storage, as most data needs to be backed up anyway in case something goes wrong with the device, upfront costs and continual costs for maintenance and updates, and uploading new applications, which must be done on each workstation individually. A thin client, sometimes called a lean client, is a virtual desktop computing model, meaning most computing resources are stored on and accessed from a central server and not from the physical device. Thin clients are used in environments and businesses where multiple people are using the same computers but accessed through individual logins, like government offices or local libraries. Because the data and applications are being accessed through a server and not from the device itself, it's more secure than thick clients. In addition to security, thin clients are less vulnerable to malware attacks, have longer life cycles, use less power, are less expensive upfront, are easier to manage, and are more scalable. However, some downsides include a dependency on a continuous network connection, slow networking as compared to internal computing, bottlenecks on bandwidth and performance, and the need to size servers correctly for the number of clients. Not every device can be neatly categorized as a thick or thin client, And there's even zero clients, or ultra-thin clients, that have no local storage whatsoever. Learn how zero clients differ from thin and thick clients, and explore some use cases by clicking on the link above and in the description below. Do you know if your computer is a thick client or a thin client? How can you tell?
So in conclusion, these are some things that the video mentioned: security, data storage, and upfront cost. That's something that is very common in big clients, so things like desktops and big computers that we use in our offices. So one last point that I want to mention is when we are designing a network that has some kind of authentication system where you have to authenticate with MAC address or with a password or things like that to verify your that you are the person you say you are, is the capability of the network. If we are using very cheap network devices like routers and switches, then we might be sacrificing um, the capability of the network. Sometimes we have a network that can support a great number of traffic, but we have equipment that is not capable of handling that bandwidth. Mostly cheaper equipment, less, I would say, not for industry. Some industry grade network equipment are expensive, and there's a reason why they are expensive because they can support millions of traffic going through them. And before we set up this kind of network that will support 10 clients and other equipment, we have to know the bandwidth consumption of those equipment and authentication capacity. How many devices it can authenticate. We don't want to buy a system that will only cater for 100 users, and then we later find out that, oh, we have 300 to 700 employees or public servants. We have to be mindful when we are planning a network because you cannot, or it is very huge task to upgrade a network when there's a lot of services running on it. So that is one important thing to be mindful of. With that, thank you so much for watching, and I hope this video has been helpful to someone.